current WoW has a lot of things missing that were great in previous expansions, and I'm pretty sure you have some things you would like to see be brought back in Shadowlands, so watch until the end to see if something from your wishlist made it into this wishlist.
Do you remember when you first dinged in BFA and got your first couple of Azerite traits, but yet you still felt like you were playing a weak, shallow version of the class you got used to for so many goddamn years? For me, this has been the first time I ever felt like this in a new expansion, and among other things, a good reason is having no new abilities and no new talents at max level. Shadowlands needs to bring some gameplay changing talents and abilities, and I know you're thinking that the unpruning will solve that, and to that I say partially. You see, if you've been playing WoW for more than 6 years, you got accustomed to the excitement of new talents and abilities with every new expansion. This is a culture they evolved with the WoW player base, so bringing back old abilities is massively appreciated, and one can only hope to also get some new ones, or at least new talents.
A cool thing to have is more scalable content like the visions, but for almost everything with scalable rewards. We could have co-op questing and scenarios that give better rewards if we do it as a group and have it challenging as well. This way you can get a friend, tackle the story of a zone or at least a few quests, and maybe each can reward double or triple the amount of gold, or maybe the item at a 5 or 10 extra eye levels. Or make the content similar to Mythic Plus, where you can choose to tackle things at a higher difficulty and get better rewards, but might need the help of friends. Essentially how the horrific visions are, again, just extended to the rest of the content. Maybe even have dungeons able to be done with 10 people for triple the loot. Stuff like this will incentivize group play, strengthen social bonds, and make it feel like a fucking MMO. And no, I don't mean 10-man raids. Looking at you, old Karazhan. Another way to apply this idea is maybe scaling content based on group comp. If you bring 4 tanks to a raid, have the bosses attack faster, lower the damage done to healers and DPS. Something to take the gameplay out of the box and not feel like 2004 anymore. People have complained about the old systems that WoW uses for combat and otherwise, and although the core cannot be changed without changing the entire game, you can still build on top of it with a little creativity.
Now let me ask you something. Have you ever been bothered by PvP vendors? Did you ever feel that because of PvP vendors, PvP players had an edge over you in dungeons or raids? I mean, I know the PvP vendor issue has been chewed a lot in BFA, but come on, can you think of any good reason why this hasn't been a thing this whole expansion? We need PvP vendors in Shadowlands because of the folks who only enjoy PvP, and for you if you decide to push some ratings. Gearing for it absolutely requires you to do a lot of Mythic Plus dungeons and raiding too, and maybe you don't have that much time to play, so in that limited amount of time you do have, all you want to do is start doing some arenas or BGs, get some form of currency or whatever, and be able to spend that on the gear that can improve your power and make you progressively more competitive. You cannot do that in BFA, and Blizzard has yet to give us a strong reason on top of the fact that they strip you away for the choices, basically telling you what gear is best for you with this bullshit ass current PvP gearing system. It takes a whole lot more to get good PvP gear in BFA when compared to other aspects of the game, and as much as you would enjoy all aspects of the game, this shouldn't be the case.
I remember the last time I wanted to play alts really bad, and that was Legion, and one of the main reasons was because they touched on class fantasy with a lot of things, but mostly class campaigns. That shit was amazing as fuck. It made me feel like I was really playing a druid or a DK, and previous to this I remember classic WoW and TBC WoW where you had class quests to require something specific only for you, like mounts. Maybe fully fleshed out class campaigns can be too much to have in each expansion because, you know, if Shadowlands bring them back, we will gots to have them all the time. But add quests for spells or something like a cosmetic effect for a spell, a new animation like the Warlock Greenfire, or maybe an alternate travel form for Druid. Or the quest chain can be taken even further away from cosmetics to reward the new talent that the said expansion will provide us with. Make the Arbiter herself send us to a fallen champion of our class to tell us how to get a secret skill or power for our class, or even spec. That would be cool as hell.
I want Reforging back! Bring back Reforging items! There was good reasoning behind the removal of Reforging back in MoP, but the game has evolved so weird in terms of stat distribution that it would just fit today's WoW status quo. Think about it. Now, in BFA we use raid bots and shit to figure out our best stats, but in order to get there, you need a whole lot of content to chew, and getting the right stats isn't even a guarantee. I don't mind farming for items I need. I get the whole MMO being an MMO bit, but that slips away from you abruptly when your bracers and boots keep rolling crit and mastery for 5 months when you desperately need as much versatility as you can. Reforging would be the perfect solution to this, so if Shadowlands will prove to be the same fiasco as BFA was in terms of stats on gear, please bring back Reforging, please.
Make death great again. I mean, in the game. I mean, in the story. Yeah, I said it. I actually don't care if lore characters die anymore, and to be fair, I really hope that if we meet people like Varian in Shadowlands, they remain in Shadowlands at the end of the expansion. And maybe death mattering is not the right thing here. I want to feel like the villain can win, or that he or she is threatening. I liked TBC and Wrath because they had a proper villain on the cover. We haven't had that lately. Sure, a plot twist and a surprise mystery figure creeping up is nice and all, but feeling the looming presence of someone out to get you that you know you cannot beat, at least not yet, and definitely not alone, is amazing. It adds to the plot, and personally I think a twist like at the end of the Untours is an amazing way to build up hype for the next expansion. Sargeras' sword being thrusted into Azeroth, and I feel like that will be misinterpreted. Yeah, it will. Yeah, cause I know you little pervy fuckers. You cannot even talk grandiously and epic anymore because of double entendres.
You know you want your class to have class-specific armor. I'm not talking about tier sets and class-specific bonuses, although I wouldn't mind those at all, but rather the aesthetics of the armor. Don't get me wrong, some of the BFA gear sets looked amazing, especially in Visions of the Zod, but in this day and age where everything you have gets to be so personal and customizable, having the same armor as the other 1,000 players in my chart makes me feel like I'm just another goddamn sheep from the flock. You know, class-specific gear needs to come back because look at your characters. Most of the transmogs you rock are from sets that were designed to represent your classes, and it feels so right. It was always exciting to look up on all the data mining on Wowhead or MMO Champion prior to major patches and see the class armor to get your routinely dose of joy or disappointment. Class-specific armor needs to come back in Shadowlands. Don't you agree?
Stay a while and listen. Is something you may never hear in WoW at this rate because you know everything. You are the savior, the one that everyone relies on. Isn't it a bummer? It is. Fuck that shit. Fuck it all the way to heck. I want the RPG feeling, to be an adventurer again, to be afraid of the world, to be afraid of the big lore NPCs. I want to feel like I am growing as a character and becoming stronger in the game. I don't have to become a god or the hope of my people. I feel Shadowlands has the power to do that. We can all be equal in death. Death can clear and erase all. We could get a new fresh start in Shadowlands and, as an extent, have a fresh start the expansion afterwards. I mean, if you think about it, wasn't Illidan the one who said there's no chosen one, only we can save ourselves in the best WoW in-game cinematic ever? Why yes, I think it was.
Alright, back to some more PvP QQing again. How many people do you know who actually play rated Battlegrounds? If your answer is none, then that is the norm nowadays, as presence in rated BGs has been dropped so much it's almost a meme now. This makes me so sad, man, as I loved doing rated BGs back in the day because the class diversity in groups was decent and incentives were on par. Nowadays, because of the lack of class diversity and bullshit rewards, no one is playing them, and make no mistakes, BGs can still be fun, but I can understand if you don't enjoy the crowded and sometimes chaotic nature of them, and for that, bringing back 5v5 arenas would address it perfectly. Either that or introduce 6v6 BGs so that this core pillar of WoW PvP can actually become highly competitive and start gaining player participation and actual tournaments streamed. There's no way to broadcast a rated battleground currently, but a 6v6 one or a 5v5 arena can definitely work. What do you think?
Remember challenge modes? Remember Mage Towers? Yeah, that. We need those back. I'm not sure if Torghast is supposed to be this, but doesn't sound like it at the moment. And if it doesn't have a higher difficulty that can reward practice and skillful play with some form of cosmetic prestige, then we need Mage Towers back. What other content has Blizzard ever done that has been so prestigious and so well known where everybody would see a werebear and know the dude did the Mage Tower? In a competitive RPG, especially one that is massively multi-played as WoW, people want to stand apart from everybody else. Sure, transmogs is one way to do that, but if everyone can transmog, it's not prestigious anymore. Having a thing everybody knows but cannot get will not only make the player having it feel good and be more likely to play the game and tackle hard content, but can stir other people to be the same. There's a reason why games like Dark Souls are so popular. Sure, there's the player that wants to take it easy, but so many of us want a challenge and to feel like we can show something for it. Even a simpler version of this where we get specific cosmetics for clearing, let's say, plus 20 mythic, since we already have this in raids and PvP. It can be daunting to implement for all 3 roles, maybe even for all 36 specs, but hey, Mage Towers were probably the biggest selling points of Legion in the second half of its expansion. Duration, thing, patches. You know what I'm saying.
So, is Shadowlands viable for all these features that have worked in the past for previous expansions? Well, we talked about a little bit on you know, new features that could come in, but is it possible? Do you think they have the time to implement a lot of this?
Well, I don't know if right now there's a question of time. I think they kind of have to, at least some of these
they
things,
better.
like, because at least in terms of Mage Towers and challenges, Ian kind of went into 8.3 talking about horrific, which is like, remember Mage Towers? And I was like, fuck yeah, I remember. Oh, it's not Mage Towers, right? So I think he knows that, and I think they're gonna do something like that. I don't know if Torghast is that, like I said. I don't know if that's going to be the new Mage Tower.
It's probably,
but you know, it's unlikely that all of these will be in the expansion, but I feel like if they manage to pull off Legion, they can probably pull off most of these.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not saying for them to bring all of these top 10 that we did today, like at launch, but I'm pretty sure it's possible for them to patch them out. You know what I'm saying? I think that the most important thing, and we talked about this in a lot of on cooldown episodes, the most important thing they have to really nail down this expansion are the classes, man. This is the thing, right? And I'm gonna underline this again. If you fuck up a player's class, like his main or whatever, all his alts and shit, that's the first thing he will interact with. I mean, okay, cinematics are cool, quests are cool, you know, features and shit, but if the first interaction with your class is bullshit, like it was in BFA, like when you ding max level, then it's gonna be a bad experience, and you cannot, I can still not, you know, get rid of that bad taste I had. You know. Yeah,
it's actually true. That's actually one of my main hopes for Shadowlands, is that they fix, like, okay, don't give us 8.3.5, but goddamn fix these classes, man.
Yeah.
Redo them, fucking do something with the GCD. If you want to keep GCD, just change it
Fuck it, man. That was a stupid goddamn change. It was stupid, and I still don't get all of the arguments, but it's not important right now. The truth is, we're really curious on what you think. Do you have any feature you would like to see back in Shadowlands? Or are you thinking of something new that should be brought in Shadowlands? Bring it in the comments, man, because I'm pretty sure that by now some of the WoW people are looking at some of these videos we do also. So it's important. I mean, this is why we're trying to keep it a little bit more professional, because feedback is really important, okay? And we have to have arguments for our feedback. Let's make, I mean, come on. Both me, Flame here, I think you as well. You want this game to be good, right? This is what
I think we did a pretty good job at explaining why we would like these features and why they would be good for the game. So, I mean, if we can put more of this energy out into the game, I think Blizzard is being more and more proactive at listening to the community.
Yeah. So do your part. Put your shit
in the
comments right here. And with that, we'd like to thank you for watching the video. Big salute to our Patreons. We love you guys. Also the Twitch subs, the Discord community. Thank you so much for being there and keeping it alive. See you next time.
Take care, everybody.